The Source continues its special look at this year's United Way campaign. One of the 103 funded agencies and partners is the YWCA of Niagara, providing shelter, food, and assistance to women and their families across the region living in poverty. Executive Director Elisabeth Zimmerman, welcome to the program. How important is the United Way funding to the YWCA's programs?
It's incredibly important. They're one of our major funders, and they fund quite a number of programs for us. Everything from supporting our shelter in Niagara Falls, transitional housing programs, all of our skills development programs, drop-ins. There's a number of programs that we would not be able to operate if it wasn't for the United Way funding.
Have you experienced, like many other charitable organizations, an increased demand for your service over COVID-19?
We've been at full capacity throughout COVID, and we've certainly are seeing the challenges for women and families trying to restabilize and find housing. And so it's prolonged their stays with us, which puts pressure on the system for those who need to access our services. So yes, it's definitely put more pressure on our services.
Can you take us through maybe a typical story, how someone comes about needing YWCA services?
Well, I mean, a typical story. I think every story that every person that comes through has a story. I think the commonality is it's one life event. So a story I often talk about is, a young woman that stayed with us who lost her housing because she had to fix the car that took her to her job. And when you're living on the edges, it takes one life event, and it can send you over the edge, and you lose your housing, and you're finding yourself in need of our services. One of the other things that we've had is just recently families who've maybe had an injury and can't work, and living on social assistance or on Ontario disability. It again, one life event, and you're without your housing. We're seeing women come in who are being being a victim of the rent evictions. So that all of a sudden, they've been in stable housing, but the landlords are deciding that they want to renovate or shift something. And, we've had families come in because of that. Families come in because of job loss. I think we haven't experienced fully all of the implications of the pandemic yet. But there is just a lot of different reasons. Ultimately, it's about low income.
Low income and a lack of affordable housing in many cases as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that, these last 4 or 5 years, when we've seen this huge increase in the cost of housing, has put a lot of pressure on our system.
These women and their families who turn to you for assistance, they're our friends, our family members, our neighbors, and often we don't know what is going on in their lives that might lead them to trying to contact the YWCA.
You're absolutely correct in saying that. I can't tell you the number of times I've heard women say, I was employed, I had a really good career, I got sick, or I got downsized. And then it starts a spiral that, you don't quickly get out of. And again, one more thing, if it's an illness and you need medication and you don't have coverage now, or your car breaks down and you're job searching or you are working. All of these things can have, when you're living on that close to the edge, it's one life event.